Well, I'm
What
ready
now?
Ready now because you pushed the button.
Hi, folks.
Anyways, this video is the interview of about Rose's life. Last time it was me, and so she's been running around kind of avoiding this. I don't know why, but she is.
Today
so,
I ran out of excuses.
she did. I finally narrowed her down.
Anyway.
So. Anyways, you're looking exceptionally beautiful today, hon.
Really?
You are. I like that.
Well, I think I just had the idea that our topic is about childhood. So I'm trying hard to look a child or younger.
Younger.
As you know, I'm already 40 years old, guys. So.
No, not quite yet. Not until April 10th. Don't make yourself older than you are.
Okay.
You'll learn that the older you get, you want to keep it back. like I could say I'm 65, but I'm not. I'm 64.
I take life as it is.
Right, right.
We all go there anyway.
Yeah. So, anyways, now I'm going to ask you the first question on the interview.
Oh, should I be threatened? I feel nervous.
Well, remember on mine you asked which Filipino women channels do I watch? Right? And it's like, oh.
So it's about the same question?
Well, kind of. A little bit different.
Okay, fire up.
So, are you sure you're ready?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think about all the guys in YouTube here that just admire you? What do you think about their comments about you, that you're such a spectacular woman? And in particular, what kind of comments get into your heart?
Get into my heart?
Yeah, where it's like, oh, that's so nice of them. They seem like a really nice guy.
Are you going to waterboard me if I don't tell you?
Well, I won't waterboard you because of the fact that you're onto that. So there's nothing around us here to do that. But yeah. So.
You mean guys?
Well, yeah, the men. Primarily the people that view our channel are men. It's like 87% are men that view our channel.
Yeah.
And so, what? You're not going to answer?
Can I keep it to myself?
Well, maybe. See how she is? That's why she was avoiding me. But, folks, I came across this app, right?
What app?
Didn't you wonder why I had my cell phone here?
That's my cell phone.
Well, it's the same thing. I
Okay.
downloaded it on there too, right? I came across this app. It's called The Shocking Truth, and all I have to do is plug the vibrator in this chair that she's sitting in into the phone, and I can shock her to get the truth out of her. Oh shit! I forgot the adapter.
Really? You can do that, huh?
I forgot the adapter for the phone. Oh, plan A went awry.
It's okay. You don't have to shock me to tell you the truth. I will tell you. Well.
So tell me the honesty about that.
Well, there's no specific. I mean, all of the comments and positive comments, admirations, appreciations, guys that appreciates my natural beauty, or me being hard worker, or me being such and such. I truly appreciate them, and all of their comments really gets to my heart. I appreciate it. I'm happy. It
all of them?
Yeah. I mean, all of
How long before one of them gets you from me?
I don't know.
Give it time, guys. It'll probably happen.
Not in your lifetime.
Oh,
maybe
over my dead body then.
After you're gone, So we have to respect the relationship.
Yeah. So buy me more cigarettes and beer, guys. I'll go quicker.
Well, I will have that. I don't have to pay for your beer and Yossi.
You're not paying.
So anyway, Yeah, you're paying for it. I know that. We're just kidding.
Yeah.
So anyway, all of those, are you jealous that they are commenting positive comments about me or
No,
or
why?
what?
Why would it be jealous?
Exactly.
It's kind of
So,
flattering that the
it's
guys all appreciate a good woman.
yeah, it's not even a thing to need to hide because you
Yeah.
read them and I
Right.
read them and yeah, I tell you I appreciate them and I'm happy.
So what kind of comments actually like get into your heart? The ones that are special. What do they say?
The ones that are special,
Yeah.
I think all of them are just positive about me.
Well,
But
they're
you
positive,
want the
but
specific? I don't remember the
sure.
names.
Well, you don't have to give the names.
The one that gets to my heart is that I think it was a comment from a Filipina that she told
Filipina.
me, yeah, it's a Filipina. She told me that
It was a female or a male?
female.
Oh.
She said even she appreciates and admire me because even though if I'm already, I mean, even though I'm already married or with a foreigner, I still do the stuff that I did before I got married, you know.
Right.
And in terms of the pig farming and just, you know, and I remain humble and simple. There's a comment like that. But I think you're trying to ask intimately, you know, a comment that gives me an intimate feelings of, you know,
Yeah, from guys.
from guys. No,
Yeah.
I mean those
No.
those are just normal comments of a guy. Like it's the same like if you want to comment for a vlogger, a Filipina vlogger, and you admire her, it's just normal.
Right.
I mean,
right.
nothing like, oh, I should, you know, I should talk to this guy because, you know, I like his comment, blah, blah, blah. No, nothing like that. Most of them and all of them, I responded. We responded the comments and we're happy because that's a positive comment. Not all vloggers get a lot of comments like that. So I am blessed.
You didn't answer it specific enough for me to be able to go out there and delete those comments before she reads them.
It's okay, guys. It's really okay. Randy is not a jealous type person, and
Not really, no.
it's me too. I'm not. I mean,
If you have to worry about your woman loving you and being with you,
Yeah.
then it's not really love.
yeah,
As far as
because
that goes.
love is a very very complicated stuff to explain.
No.
In fact, there's no explanation for that. It's beyond because we are humans. We have the conditional love. We have conditional love. It's the truth. Like you love
Conditional?
me because yeah, we are conditional love humans.
No.
Na,
Our love is unconditional.
so
But I don't
unconditional.
put conditions on it. You know, you
I
have
mean-
you have to be this way. You
I
have to do
mean,
that.
I mean,
you know, you shouldn't eat so much rice.
oh, it's very conditional because see
What?
the first thing you attracted by me is my looks and
Right.
my ability in English language. So it's conditional.
Well, it's not,
With the
it's not
without
conditional.
without
That's
those
just
ability of mine, you wouldn't be able to. You will not be liking to contact me or message me anymore. So it's conditional. It's you have reason.
Well, you were very beautiful, right?
Well, I
And
know.
So, and so I
And
thought,
me-
well, I have no chance with her.
Okay.
You know,
So
kind of-
okay. I wish
So-
I answer your question very.
Nah, well, you kind of did. Like I say, I still don't know which comments.
Next
to delete
question,
before you read 'em.
please. Sus, very easy
So
question.
tell me about your childhood. How you grew up.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Childhood?
Yeah, you know.
Do you want to board our viewers for the childhood?
No, they want to hear.
I don't have.
how you grew up. What was life like when you were a child?
It was challenging.
Yeah. So
It's
what?
always a challenge.
So what? You did you grow up wealthy or poor or what was it? Explain. She's avoiding. I obviously know some of.
Yeah, because
You know,
it's
some
not
of the-
something that people may interested. Anyway, I grew up from. I don't like the term poor.
No.
I maybe I would use less fortunate. We were very less fortunate, but on the other hand, I grew up having the love of the parents, not maybe via materialistic ways, but you
Right.
know, but well, maybe on my mother's side, less of my father's side. But anyway, we'll get there. So I grew up from a big family. My grandparents, my father's siblings is like 14, was like they were 14 siblings, and my siblings, we are 8. So we grew up way up here when this is our place where our grandparents lived before, and from here it's like still 3 kilometers away. We live in the mountain, really, guys.
So you live much further up this mountain.
Yeah, much further up.
Right.
And before, we didn't have anything. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have
Right.
uh you know the water line that we had now.
Right.
We have to get it from the source itself, but it was fresh.
From
It was a very fresh water. We call it deep well, not deep well, but
you got it from the river, right?
yeah,
So
from the river, which those years they are still very very clean.
yeah.
So and
So what kind of house did you have?
we have a ordinary nipa hut where everything serves everything. Like the floor is like maybe just not even 10 meters square foot.
Oh yeah. So
I think how do you
it was-
say?
it was a small one room house.
Yeah, it's
Right.
one room where we sleep, we eat, we change clothes, and it's where my mom and dad keeps bringing children.
Yeah.
Let's
So-
put it this way.
So how did you take baths
In the river.
in the river?
Yeah, we had river. We don't have toilet. we
You didn't
we,
use the river for the toilet, did you?
No, we didn't. We dig up a hole
Okay.
on the forest, and then eventually we made my dad made a toilet, you know, as we grow up.
Like outhouse, you mean?
Yeah, outhouse toilet.
There go the dogs.
But it's just the basic hole, and there's
Right. Right.
you know it's very very basic.
Yeah.
So we grew up having just the basic.
And so, what did your dad do for a living? I mean, how did he earn money?
He is basically a farmer, farmer that does anything in the farm of many different people. Like he does harvest coconuts, he does a rice field, he plow the field, he harvests the rice. He does, but we have our own plantation. Do we call it plantation, or just a little area of like root crops? Because root crops, aside from the rice, root crops is our main food. Like sweet
Right.
potato, cassava, and the taro, the one that we are cooking for pig food. So that's the babies of that I showed you was also our food when we were childhood. So
Right.
we grew up basically just the basics.
Right. So you guys had kind of struggled to have food, right?
Yeah, but only after dad left us.
He left you?
Yeah, he left us
yeah?
when I was the only memory I had during those times. I think I was on grade 1, so I was like 7 or 6 years old by the time he left us.
All right.
He went to Mindanao, if you guys know Mindanao, because we have an uncle living there. And we, being a child, I don't have really a clear memory on what had happened, what had occurred, why he left us. But there's a rumor that leads to a conflict of our family with my grandparents and the rest of his siblings, is because they told us that he sold one portion of land of my grandparents, his
Oh, yeah.
parents.
And
So
but
so
he didn't own that land, right?
yeah, he didn't own it basically because they were still alive, but that's what they said. Yeah, he sold some, and then and that fact lead us to a more difficult life, because our grandparents or even my father's siblings didn't really supported us because they were mad at us. Their anger to my father goes to my family, my mom and my siblings. So by the time father left us, I think we were only 6.
Yeah. Were you in
Seven,
school at
eight.
this time?
Yeah, I was at grades 1, and then we basically struggled for food. My eldest sister and I and brother would always go to the uh, let's say abandoned farm. You know, like if there's a farmer that leave the farm after they harvested the sweet potato and cassava, and there's a leftover,
Right.
so we
Stuff
have
that
to
they
dig
didn't
it,
get.
and sometimes there's a farm that the cassava becomes really really big and wild, so
Right,
we have to
right.
dig it, and it's like a day-to-day basis to we don't we barely had rice after dad left us,
Right.
and
And so you basically had to go out and forage in the jungle.
Yeah.
To get food.
yeah,
Right?
and my mom.
Can you imagine, guys? You know, having to do that, grow up that way, and you were what, like 7 years old?
Yeah, I was
Seven or
seven,
eight?
8. Yeah, and then uh actually for us in on that time, it really didn't give us a lot of, how do you say? Because there are lots of people that does that.
Well,
It's
yeah.
not just us, you know.
Right.
But
well, yeah, the Philippines. There's a lot of people living in poverty.
Yeah,
in the Philippines,
so- and-
still today.
And I really grew up having the fact that the belief rather that we are still blessed, you know. We have a home, we
Yeah.
have water, we have fresh water, we have a very wide playground, because the only neighbor we had before is our cousin which lived a mountain apart, you know, like a mountain, but we call it as neighbor, and that's our only neighbor. And uh
And so you would hike down the mountain every day to go to school?
yeah, we
Ooh.
pass in this area. You know the foot road. Remember I
Yeah,
told you
yeah.
why it means a lot to us, because that is our old pathway when we
Right.
were kids going to school.
But you're saying that where you lived was 3 kilometers from
Yeah,
there?
that's just an estimate. But
How
if,
long did it take you to get to school?
when we were when you were young, you were strong. You know,
Well, yeah.
we walk fast, and we even run. Like going down,
Oh yeah.
we ran. You
So
know,
how long did it take to get there?
less than 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
30 minutes to do
Yeah, because-
like 4 kilometers?
Yeah, we normally always run, basically run.
Oh yeah.
You know, like run when we were young. You know, my two brother and my cousin, we would go to school together. You know, we will drop. You know, we will pass through in their house, and then we goes to school together. So we
So that the gang would grow as you went down the mountain.
yeah. So and then, but the hardest part is going home, because it's steep.
It's
and
uphill.
It's, you know, it's against gravity, as you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
trust me, it is steep, guys. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So during those time, memories of the childhood is both let's say happy and how do I say? Sometimes when you're at school, you would think that, oh, you know, you when you were kids, you see what other kids have that you don't have. But
Right.
I don't have the feelings of envy or
Right.
jealousy.
Right.
I was just like keep telling myself that, you know, one day we would have it, you know.
So you told me that your parents worked in the rice fields, right?
Yeah.
For an income?
Yeah.
And didn't they have you working in the rice fields?
Oh yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
But I outsmarted them.
What'd you do?
Guys, I am a farmer. I still, even until today, I have a blood and the heart of a farmer, because I really love to be in the farm and just live in the farm, grow old in the farm, and die in the farm. And but when we were kids, I really hated the sunlight.
Oh yeah.
You know, the sunshine, because in the rice field, guys, rice doesn't grow in under the shade. The rice field,
Right.
especially way up
It's-
in the
it's-
mountains,
Yeah.
it's
open
really
fields.
an open, you know, an open field.
Right.
So, and it's unbelievable how the farmers, even my parents, which I really give credit to them, you know, even if we were poor or, you know, less fortunate, they tried, they work hard just to feed us, and and I could not imagine those hardship, you
Yeah.
know. So, but me, I didn't like working on it because it's very hot. I don't have the tolerance or high tolerance of the sunshine. It gives me headache.
So
and
how did you escape it?
so if my father always our water source, guys, from the rice field is like we'll say 30 minutes, no, not 30 minutes, but maybe less than 10 minutes walk, because it would be on another area, because
Yeah.
there's no water lines. We have to fetch our water.
Yeah, I know. You didn't have a
So
problem.
he would ask me, "Oh, Rose, you get water first." So, and I am very happy when he does that, because now I can escape. Yeah, I really do escape, guys.
How did you escape?
I didn't lie about it. I really escaped because I don't want to work in the rice field. But my brother and my eldest sister is there. My the rest of the brothers, my mom and dad.
Slave
When we were-
labor, slave
when we were
labor.
working in the rice field and me fetching water. Oh, it takes time for me to get back, and sometimes I will not get back to the rice field. I would go
What-
home.
You'd go home.
And sometimes I ended up I found myself in the bush or in the forest, picking up guava fruits or whatever. Me alone. I just hide, I skip the work. I don't want it. And sometimes, because I already know what will happen, your parents will smack you or scold you when they get home. Where have you been? Why didn't you, like that? So I made a trick. My father is very strict on house cleaning. He wants the house, even if we call it home. He doesn't want a messy house, like
Yeah.
your clothes everywhere,
Like we are.
yeah, like we are
We're
today.
pigs.
So my
We're not
father
pigs, but we're messy.
my father didn't like that way.
Yeah.
So my trick is, when I go home, I had to clean up, and then I
yeah?
have to imagine, guys, when the first thing we learn when we were kids is to cook rice and do
Yeah.
dishes. That's
Right.
the first thing. You will never with my father's fatherhood, you will never get out from the house unless you know how to cook, or
Yeah.
so. And
So-
we were cooking using the firewood then.
So you would clean the house and make meals.
Yeah, make meals.
So
Not a dish, because we don't know, what we don't know how to cook vegetable yet during those time. But
right.
the very most important thing is we have to learn how to cook rice. That's the
Yeah.
first thing. So I learned to cook rice when I was 7 years old or 8, something like that.
So that's how you got a punishment, huh?
Yeah.
You were-
So no, by doing that, he will not be mad at me anymore,
right.
because
Right.
he does not have and then you know the yard, I have to broom it very very quick, broom it like
Yeah.
clean them. So that's my
So
trick, guys.
You
So I
cleaned it,
would, but sometimes I don't escape all the time.
right.
you know
And so did your dad came back, right?
yeah, okay. Here's the sad part of our childhood, because we grew up really our father is really a hardworking person.
Yeah.
I give credit for that to him, but he is also a hard smoker and a hard drunkard.
Like me.
Yeah. And so I remember that every time he gets drunk, that's the trouble begins,
Yeah.
because we were normal when he was not drunk.
Right.
It's like normal. He worked all day long to the farm, in different farm of other people, and our little farm. And I remember he grew up he grow some vegetables, for food, because basically our food before is it's either a combination of root crops, a rice, and a vegetable. That's
Right.
it. It's very rare that we had fish or we had meat.
Oh yeah.
So that's how we grew up. And that's basically because we don't have money before. I didn't see money when we were kids. We don't. And when we go to school, we didn't even have like the other kids have. Like they have like 20 or 10 pesos as when
Yeah.
how kids are. We don't have it. So
Right.
what I did when so anyway, back to my father. The only hard part was that even if he was a hard worker, there was no really improvement in our lives, because every time he earned money, he goes to drinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he he goes drinking, and the difficult part was that he doesn't drink alone. He drink with his friends.
Ah.
So you know what that means. When you drink with your friends, you and this is the most difficult part, guys, because Filipino is not like, it's not the same as you. Remember how I explained it to you? Like Filipino, if they drink, if they start drinking, maybe not all of them, but most of them, especially the workers, the farmers, if they started drinking, they will never stop unless
They keep going until they're out of booze, right?
yeah, and that also leads to, they spend most of the money on drinking and less money when they get home. Because I remember that's the cause of fight between mom and dad before.
Right.
Like, oh, where did you spend the money? I know you work in this farm, but you should have your salary, and there's no. So basically the argument when we were kids between my father and my mom is money and the vices.
Oh yeah.
It just
So
the same.
let me
Over.
ask you, since your dad was a smoker and a drinker,
Yeah.
right? How do you feel about me because of the fact that you didn't really want a guy that smokes and drinks, right?
That's a very easy question, Han. You
What?
didn't do like my father did.
What
You
do you
didn't
mean?
nag me. I mean, you drink, but you don't drink like, there's no tomorrow. You drink
Well,
basically.
you never know. One day there's gonna be no tomorrow.
No, I mean, no, guys, it's different. Plus, you provided it. You work hard for it. You pay for your own vices, and you don't
Right.
nag me. You don't get wild. My father, when he was drunk, he
Yeah.
would. That's why my one job, guys, when my father goes home drunk, is to hide everything.
What do you mean?
The knives, the bolo, the machete.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, because he would. That's the first thing he would ask from, and he would call all of his
That's
enemies.
That's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, it was, and my mother put up with it for a very long time, and then, being a child, me, I was a very obedient child. I can tell that because
Mhm.
I'm afraid of, like when your parents
Punishment.
punish you, and
Right.
I see how my father punished most of my brothers because they don't obey.
Yeah.
Like after school you should be home right away, no playing, no in short,
no
no
having
childhood,
fun,
guys.
huh?
No having fun. So we grow up with that. I grew up with that, and me, that's why my father normally told to his friends that I am the only obedient child, because not because I am afraid of him, but because I am so afraid of the punishment. I didn't like it,
My mom.
Yeah.
Didn't want me to come home. It's like, I hope he stays out playing all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just had to be home,
So
for dinner.
So that's why. But I have a fear of my father. I grew
Right.
up like the hatred. I think when I was growing up as a child, I had the hatred of why is he like that? Why
Right.
he is, and because my little mind was telling me, if he only not drink, too much, and if he only not spend most of our money, the money that he earns basically doesn't go to the alcohol, we would have been better. Our life
Right.
would be better. And then when he left for
So what-
3 years, he
Yeah.
he went back. And there's a funny story too, guys. During those entire 3 years, of course, we will make a story short, our life was really hard, really, really hard, that you wouldn't imagine. We are 6 siblings, my mom, and he also left without knowing that my mom was pregnant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mom was pregnant to my sister Jasmine. She was the baby when my father left us.
Is she the youngest?
No, youngest with the girls.
With the
Second to
girls?
the youngest.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so yeah, I cannot imagine. I cannot explain how difficult that was. I never had a childhood like normal children have,
Right,
because
right.
I grew up taking care of the youngers or the
Yeah.
young siblings.
How did that work? Didn't your mom and dad go to like Manila
Yeah, later on.
later on?
Later on, yeah. So to make the story short, guys, my father went back. Comes back home after 3 years. So within those 3 years, we were just kids. So we don't know if he
Yeah.
really sent us money or he
Right.
sent money to mom that my mom is not telling us, or
He
whatever.
probably drank it all away, right?
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
without communication as well. No letter, because way back then there's no cell
Well,
phone, so
yeah.
no letters at all. So
Shit, there's no mail service in the Philippines today.
yeah. So in short, he just left us like that.
Right.
And
Right.
I was at grades 1, so I was able to finish the grade 1, and then I was able to go to the grade 2 at the grade school, but then eventually I stopped because my mom
Right.
said I cannot handle
She
it
couldn't
anymore.
afford
Yeah.
paying
And
for it, right?
besides, I couldn't make up to school anyway because we didn't have food. All we did, we have to be in the forest and digging for food. And I would remember that my grandparents would visit us and bring us some, but it wasn't enough.
Right.
So anyway, the only aunt that I remember that really helped us. Remember that I told you I have an aunt that has
Was this when both of your parents were in Manila?
no, not yet.
Not yet.
She also helped us when so anyway, guys, all I thought, I mean, during these 3 years my father didn't supported us, and then all of the sudden after 3 years he appeared. But before he appeared, guys, there was a funny story because he sent a letter before he arrived, and that letter arrived in kind of afternoon, during like today in the afternoon. And then my mother and my siblings were crying because in the letter my father said he's dead,
Yeah.
he's dying, or he's dead, whatever. And then the letter has a blood on it or something, because he made a story
yeah.
that he joined the National People's Army or whatever, the rebellion group. He said he joined, and blah blah blah, and that he's dying and he's dead. And I said, I was only like, maybe by that time I was 9 something, turning to 9, and I said, who would be a person that's dying that can be able to write?
Right.
So I didn't, in short, I didn't believe it.
Right,
I didn't
right.
believe it, and I didn't cry. There's no emotion at all, besides the fact that he left us. I had the feeling of a lot of questions, and maybe I would call it hate or anguish. I
Anger?
was anger. I was angry, and then I told my mom, no, I don't believe it.
Now I
So-
see why she's been avoiding this story.
yeah, it's not a happy story,
it's not a
guys.
happy
my
story,
my
is it?
childhood, and remember what I told you. It's not that I'm avoiding it. It's just it brings me back the past, which is not
Brings you back in. Yeah.
happy. It's
No, I
it's
understand.
it's actually sad, and maybe it bores you guys, but this is it. This is my childhood. And so okay, the funny story is my mother is religious, right?
Right.
And after he received the letter, the
She-
next day we went to the cemetery, right? Because he accepted that my father is dead. Okay, the letter arrived and he's dead. So we
So
went.
so the thing in the Philippines is guys, they don't have a word for he or she, and so they mix those up all the time.
Yeah, I
They'll-
messed up.
they'll call girls he or guys she, right? Because that's a common thing in the Philippines where they mix that up.
We always do it wrong.
Yes, sir.
No, I mean, okay. So,
Yeah.
okay. Then the next day after my mother received the letter, we went to the cemetery. My mama died. Even though I was reluctant to go with her, but
Right.
she insisted that come with me, because maybe I was the only one that did not cry, because I was the one
Yeah.
who didn't believe it. And I said, no, I don't believe he's dead. And so, to make the story short, we went to the cemetery. We say some prayers. My mother say some prayers that may his soul rest in peace. Maybe he forgive his sins and blah blah blah. I forgive him. Blah blah blah. And then when we got home that day, in the nighttime, my father appeared, guys. All of the sudden, here's my
A
father.
A ghost is here.
Yeah. So I would consider it as a fun story, but for my mom and my siblings, it's a happy story, because my father is father came back. But yeah, I would also wanted to thought it that way, but it didn't happen as the way how I expected it or
Right.
thought of it, because my father becomes more violent. My father became more drunkard, as we say,
Uh-huh.
and and then there's an issue of jealousy and a fight constantly between my mom and my dad, because he was shocked that Sister Jasmine, my youngest sister, is
Right.
there. Who is this child? And it's like, who is this, you know? And so instead of, you know how this, how my father switches the situation, that my mother will not be angry at him. Instead, he
Was angry at her.
he's angry at her because he considered mom cheated her when he was not around, right? Because of the
Yeah.
child. And my mom said,
That's not good.
yeah, you know how it is, guys. So during those time when my father gets back, I guess the struggle became more and more intense.
Mm.
It brings tense to the family. It brings a lot of, basta it was not easy to tell and express it, guys, but it was really just to think
So,
that
so basically, you struggled in your childhood.
yeah, I struggled, me specifically, because I was the one who ended up being a mother of those two babies. My brother Noel, which is the one that's helping with the pig sound, and Sister Jasmine, because they were the baby when it was my brother Noel was a baby when my father left. And when my mother goes to plant in the rice field or go to people and make some money, I was the one who
Right.
always takes care of it. So that's also the one reason that I stopped at school, because no one
Right.
will take care of the younger baby, which
Well,
is
and
the brother Noel.
And jumping forward a little bit,
Yeah.
I guess, right? Didn't your dad and your mom leave and go to Manila?
Oh, they didn't left together. My mom, the reason my mom went to Manila is to find a job,
Right.
which is a housemaid basically, because
Right.
my mother didn't. Do you imagine my mother was only able to had a grades 2 education
Oh yeah.
or grade 6, I don't know, and my father was at grade 4. So
Right.
during those times, most of the people especially that lives in the mountain, never consider that the education
Right.
school is a necessity.
Right.
So
And so you ended up raising your younger siblings, right?
raising, yeah, and
Because neither
taking
parent
care, yeah.
neither parent were around.
Yeah, my mother,
And they weren't sending you money, were they?
I don't really remember if they did, but maybe it was handled by my mother or my eldest sister. All I could remember, guys, is I was the one who became the nanny for those two babies, to make the story short.
Right.
So
And how old were you at the time?
I was like 10 when my father gets back. But when my father left, I was 7 or 8. I was already taking good care of my one brother. And then it gets worse after my mother gave birth to the youngest sister, my
And so-
sister, because I was
and
the one who
so-
takes care of them.
You know, moving along, because we've covered that enough.
Yeah.
What? How did you get back to school?
I think my father sent, because I always wanted to have the education, guys. It's always my
But your father didn't want to send you to school, right?
after elementary. They sent me to the elementary, and I would also make money by I would always go to my aunt's house near the ocean in the beach, because they have fish production.
Right.
My uncle owns a fishing boat, so they would have a fish and they will make it into dried fish or salted fish, because that was very common food in the Philippines, guys, especially in that's one way of preserving, because
Right.
not
Oh,
so
yeah.
many Filipino family have the refrigerator to preserve food.
Right.
So it's either, if you have fish, it's either they do it how do they say, dried fish, dried under the heat of the sun, or the salted fish. So I would go in their house Friday afternoon when I was at grade school, and then I would go back home Sunday afternoon, and then they would give me, like, I would remember 50 pesos or 100 pesos, and I was happy enough because if I go to school and by Monday I would have some money for to buy paper or
Right.
pencil, you know,
Right.
stuff like that. So it
Because your dad didn't want to send you to high school, right?
yeah, after
Yeah.
graduation I was very
He said-
very sad.
Did,
I was
didn't he say you're just gonna be get married and have babies, and so there's
Yeah.
no sense having an education?
Yeah, he told me that you don't need to go to high school. You will just get married and get kids. You know, like, and then I was like, why would, you know, I was very sad, guys, because I graduated elementary days. I was a salutatorian, which is second to the best child or at school.
That's cool.
So I was,
Villa.
no, salutatorian. That's like second honor, we call it.
Okay.
Second honor. So, and then I was like, what? I did all the hard work and you don't want
Right.
to send me to school. So I said, okay, if you don't, I wanted to go to school. I don't want to get married early and I don't want to have kids early. So if I don't go to school, I will just, you know, like what you said, I will just be ended up getting married early. And I never like it, guys. Trust me. So
And you actually taught yourself English, right? I mean, they taught you English in school, but you went way above that.
yeah, I think that happens at high school days.
Yeah.
Because at our school we have a library.
Right.
At elementary we don't have library. So I told my father I want to go to high school, and if you don't want to send me to high school, please find me a employer.
Right.
And I was a working student the entire high school. He find me a employer that sent me to school. In return, I work for them. I live in their house and I work for them. And at the young age, of course, I was like, I graduated grade school very late, guys, because you know, I
Because you missed
stopped.
school.
I missed school for 2 years.
Right. Right.
And that's why I graduated. I was already like 14 years old.
So how do you think she
Something
turned
like
out after all this? I think
So anyway,
fantastic.
he found me a employer. I worked there, and because I was late 2 years at grade school, so I was also very late. So I took an exam at high school because they offered it to the students that goes to school late,
Okay.
you know, and so that you will advance. So they give us a test,
Okay.
and I passed.
To see where you're at.
Yeah, I passed also. So I didn't have a second year.
She's one
high
smart
school.
cookie, I can tell you that.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have a second year high school, but I ended up.
One smart cookie. You're delicious to eat too.
And I ended up regretting it because I lost my
Regretting what?
honor.
What do you mean
I
your
was not
honor?
an honor anymore when I was in high school because
Well,
I lost the algebra topic, guys. Because the second year, it was the time for you to get and learn algebra. You know,
Okay.
those xy, 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 x squared, something like that. I didn't have that. So when my third year, I don't have the second year. From first year, after I finished first year, I jumped to the third year. So I lost the second year. I didn't have the second year high school. But I ended up crying when I graduated high school because I didn't have an honor.
no.
I was eliminated because
yeah.
I got 78 average on the mathematics.
Oh no. Only 78.
But my average grade is like on the top or one of the honor students.
In the 90s then,
Yeah. I was like 93 average,
right?
school grade average. So but anyway, that's my childhood.
Yeah. So we're up through high school now, right?
Yeah.
And so in part 2 we'll continue from there. Hopefully you guys didn't get bored with her story. Can you imagine living that way and the kids in America living that way? It just doesn't happen.
So as
She
I
turned out very, very well.
I think
I can
so.
tell you. Well, I know so.
because I never hated that we grew up poor.
Right.
That's the thing with me. I never hated it.
Well, that's a
I
big.
didn't blame my parents for it because that's basically what they saw in their
That's-
parents, you know. But I hated the fact that my father was a drunkard. Or you know, because that him, and also I was like questioning my mom. Hey mom, we only have a small house. Where did you make a baby? Why we become 8, you know? And and that's one thing, guys. That's why I was growing up having the realization of, even if a family, Filipino family, is poor, let's say poor, and just have the basics, if they don't have many children, it would have been more easier for the parents to
Yeah.
send the kids to school or
But that-
give
well,
the
yeah,
needs.
but that's kind of Philippine tradition, especially
I
back,
know.
especially back then.
I know, because
Where
they
the-
have
where
a different
they-
beliefs.
Well, yeah, because they have the kids, and then they kind of expect the kids when they get
To
older
take care of them.
to take care of them when they're older. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a vicious cycle.
So yeah, I grew up having a little bit hatred to my father, towards my father, because of the fact that, what he did to us. But eventually I came to the realization that you can never change anyone.
No, you
I never
can't.
did change my father, and he is who he was until he died. But I was grateful. I was grateful that we had the experience of struggle when we were kids, because that's,
Well,
I think,
it made you into what you are today.
yeah, I think it driven me into aiming and having the goal of, I would not let my own family, to have experienced the same way, like especially if
Yeah,
I will
you-
get kids.
You didn't want to repeat the cycle of
Yeah.
poverty, of just having kids and
Yeah.
struggling through life,
Because
and having no money.
I am maybe a matured child, but I am also into more millennial kids, that, why would you wanted to let your own children suffer the same way as you suffered before? It doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
So I always wanted, that's the reason also, guys, that I never really get married early.
Right?
I didn't, because I don't want, and anyway, we will go there in that part. But for
You,
now,
you didn't even date a guy until you were like what, 26?
26. My
26,
first
yeah.
Filipino boyfriend when I was 26 years old.
Right.
I kept my virginity until I was 29 years old.
Ah.
So anyway, do you have
So,
any further questions? We're already 47 minutes.
No, we'll continue it in the next video. This one's getting kind of long.
Yeah, I know.
So-
So thank you, everyone. That's all for my childhood. I know. I hope I didn't get you bored. You don't get bored.
And I'm gonna
with my-
find the adapter for that chair, to get the truth out of her on more questions that I have.
Have a great day, everyone.
All right, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody, cheers.
God
Have
bless
a
you,
great
and
day.
be safe
And-
always.
And we'll talk to you next time.